Hello everyone, it's Leo, and in this video we are going to talk about episode 39 from Healing Good PreCure, which was a very big and important episode because it kind of introduces us to the last arc of this season. I am very curious. This episode made me very, very curious for the future of Healing Good. So we already start this episode with Hinata's fever dream. I loved the intro scene. I laughed. It was so much fun seeing Hinata and Cure Sparkle getting all the praise because she's beautiful, because she's powerful, she's altruistic, and the girls with funny voices telling that to her and her winning 1 year of tapioca because of her job as Cure Sparkle, and she's like the leader. This scene was everything to me. But I think that the most interesting thing about this scene is the generals. Because after we see this scene, we see them purified, we see them all happy and helping the city overall. I wonder if this is a foreshadowing of the possibility of the villains being purified in Healing Good. Because this is basically the first time we see them in this other way, you know, and I absolutely loved this fever dream. So after that, we have a scene of the girls in school, and we have this rendition of King Byogen by Nodoka. They've never seen King Byogen before, and Nodoka thinks he looks like this. Girl, you're totally right. I mean, she could totally be right. We don't know how King Byogen looks. Until today, we don't. He could look like this at the end of the day, honestly. And so then we had an interesting scene with the villains. This scene was very nice because Guaido had a plan in his mind, and for that he needed the other generals not to be in their usual place. So he tricks Shindoine. We had Shindoine with a Kirayaba face. Girl, I loved this so much. I love this. I love this image of Shindoine. And this one as well. Come on, this is amazing. He kind of tricks her. It's very easy to trick Shindoine. Just say, King Byogen is waiting for you to do something, and she goes and does. Obviously, it just doesn't make sense. She knows that King Byogen isn't really there, but you know, this scene was so great and so funny. Let's let it slip. Let it slip. Okay, so now when we got back to the girls, Hinata is the most important thing about this, and we need to talk about her, but we had this scene, and the girls, like, Hinata's late. Hinata's Brazilian, honestly. I think she's Brazilian because Brazilian people are always late. And in this scene, we see Asumi there, and Asumi says something like, oh, it's okay that she's late. It's nice waiting for other people. We have fun waiting for other people. I'm like, girl, no. It is not fun at all. Who is teaching you those things? Who is teaching you those things? You're doing things that you're learning from those girls. Girl, this is not fun at all. Please stop with being late. This needs to end, okay? Please, please, please. So we see Hinata watching Guaido, and Guaido left the Byogen kingdom and left a portal behind him. And she quickly calls the girls, hey girls, come on, come here. I need to show you something. And then when they get there, they see the portal and they start, debating whether they should enter the portal and try to find King Byogen to fight against him or not. And the first thing that is said is that King Byogen is very strong, and even Teachinu couldn't really beat him. But because of her fight against him, he could be weaker than he usually is, so there might be a possibility. And like, Nyatoran was the only voice of reason. Like, this is very weird for me because Nyatoran is never the voice of reason, but in this episode, Nyatoran was the voice of reason, said, we can't go. He's too strong for us. We don't know what's there. We don't know the monsters and the dangers that could be inside the Byogen kingdom. And in here, we had a very interesting scene with Hinata, honestly. Because Hinata is the one that says they should go. And I feel like this is very interesting because it shows how her character is constantly evolving. And like, if we remember what happened in episode 13, remember that scared girl who believed that she wasn't cut to be a cure when Batete Moda arrived? After many experiences, it changed her, and now she's the one that says, let's do this. If we join our forces, if we believe in our power, we might be able to win. So it was very nice that they highlighted this big change in Hinata's personality, because episode 40 is going to be the last Hinata episode. We already had Chiyu's last episode, and we're going to have the last Hinata episode. So it's very interesting that they highlighted this a little bit, and they showed a little bit more of Hinata's personality in this, and how she is evolving and how she's changing. And even with Crazy Nyatoren, they went to the Byogen Kingdom. And we start the Byogen Kingdom with a scene with Latte saying that her body is heavy and she is feeling what's going on around her, which is an obvious thing because we know that Latte feels the Byogen's powers. She can sense them, and it directly affects her. It directly makes her feel sick. So it was understandable that she was feeling that way. And Asumi fell in a trap right at the start, and she was like, no, this is totally fine. I'm totally good. This is very simple. And the girls were like, girl, no. This was very funny. And, they kept on going until they found the actual King Byogen. And this scene was very interesting because King Byogen kept on teasing the girls a lot, because he wanted to know who those new PreCures are. He's never seen them before. He just knows they exist because he had his prior quarrel with a cure in the past, and she defeated him. And now he wants to see who those new cures are his generals cannot beat. So the fight basically starts at this moment, and we have a very weird first scene when he starts attacking Cure Earth and the other girls watch. Honestly, they were like, Asu! And they were super worried about her, but they were just there watching. And unfortunately, I think that the animation of this episode didn't really help. It didn't have the best animation in terms of the fighting scene. It was a very simple animation, and I'm thankful because they're saving the best animation probably for the most important fights, for the most important episodes. And next episode, it seems that we're already starting something very big. So I hope that in the next episode, we're having like a step up in the animation, but it's normal. Like, this wasn't supposed to be like the biggest episode ever, so it's okay. And so, like, Cure Earth isn't able to hit King Byogen, and the girls also start fighting with their bottles. They're not able to really do anything, and then King Byogen creates those corporeal monsters to fight against the Cures and to actually test their powers. This was very interesting. Like, he wasn't really trying to defeat them or anything. I think, like, he wanted to have a little fun before that, and he wanted to know how strong those Cures are, because he fought against one in the past that was very strong, and now he's trying to see if those Cures are strong or not. And this scene was nice because we had Cure Earth helping them a little bit, even though the fights were kind of like individual fights. And we were able to see their individual powers in this episode. Another interesting thing, but even with their individual powers, they couldn't beat the monsters, and they basically got defeated. They fell on the ground, and they kind of got a little desperate. And I think that this scene was also very important because King Byogen was teasing the healing animals, because the healing animals we see now, they're young. They're very young. So they didn't participate in the war that happened before Healing Good started. And because of that, the healing animals, they felt desperate, and they felt kind of like humiliated because they weren't able to participate, obviously. And now they're trying to fight. Like, who are you? Who do you think you are? And they felt this, and they kind of started believing that they weren't cut for this. They weren't enough for this fight. Like, they're not strong enough. But this scene here, it was kind of emotional, seeing them kind of give up. But then the girls, getting together with them and giving them power, making them believe again. They've been fighting for so long. It's 39 episodes of those girls bonding with their healing animals, with their partners. And I think that it kind of culminated in this scene and it was very beautiful. The soundtrack on this moment was everything. Everything. I really loved the soundtrack on this moment, and very beautiful, and it really showcased their partnerships and their beliefs together. I loved it. And after that, King Byogen got very serious and like, I'm gonna beat you now, and I'm gonna destroy you. And so he was serious, but the girls were also serious. The mascots were also serious for this fight, and they used the bunny shield that they used in episode 37, in which we could actually see like the healing animals taking more and more power and becoming a little stronger than they usually are. Like the usual shields that they do, we've seen them using them in this episode individually, and they broke, but now they used this white one. They combined their powers. Awesome. And in this scene, like, I loved their determined and like kind of scared but also very determined faces to beat King Byogen. And we had Cure Earth also joining in and jumping with her air element. I love when she uses the air element. I love the bottle itself. It's green, it's beautiful, and I love the way she uses it. And I loved that in this scene, it really looked like an All-Stars movie, the faces interchanging. It happens a lot in All-Stars. It's like a staple in All-Stars. And we see this happening in this episode as well. And one very interesting thing, we see Lotte's heart in her forehead shining. And that's when they actually get the power to defeat King Byogen. It was with their regular attack, but we don't usually see this scene of Lotte that connected to another scene that we're going to talk about pretty soon. So they basically defeated this King Byogen. Not really. And this scene was also awesome with Hinata like, Cure Earth, please pinch me. And like, am I actually sleeping? No, you're not sleeping, girl. They defeated King Byogen. But then Guairu came back, and it was all part of Guairu's plan. Guairu wanted them to enter the Byogen kingdom, fight against King Byogen so that he can become King Guairu. And next episode 40, we are going to see Guairu as a king. His rightful place, right? His rightful place. I absolutely love when they did that with Guairu, because Guairu deserves to be the king. He is the best. So before we finish, I need to talk about this scene right here. For the first time in Healing Good, we were able to see the original Cure from Healing Good. I'm not sure if she's actually called Cure Earth. Every time they mention her, it just says that she really looks like the original Cure. Have they mentioned that she looks like Cure? She is called Cure Earth? If they did, please leave in the comments because I don't remember. So this scene was very nice. It was King Byogen's memory, and when he was fighting against the Cures, he remembered this moment when he was fighting against the original Cure and her partner Teatsinu. I loved seeing the original Teatsinu here, like not the original, but like when she was younger. She looks adorable. And it was very sad because we could see in this moment more or less what happened in this episode. We can see that it also happened with the original Cure. She almost got defeated. We can see her harp there destroyed. She almost got defeated, but she never gave up. With her determination, she was able to stand up once again, and she was able to fight with her partner, and both of them defeated King Byogen for the first time. This was when King Byogen invaded Earth for the first time, right? So in here, we were able to see Tachinu's face for the first time. I think she looks amazing. I love her so much. Look at her. Come on, look at her. I really loved this. And we also were able to see that in this moment, I think that it was probably when King Byogen was defeated for the first time, in which her heart in her forehead was glowing. And then probably they got a super powerful attack and defeated King Byogen, which also happened in this episode, basically with Latte's forehead heart was also shining, and the girls were able to defeat King Byogen. This time around, it's obvious that the King Byogen that defeated isn't the real thing. I don't know. I don't know if King Byogen has an actual body this time, or if he's going to infect something to come to Earth and try to fight the girls. I don't know how things are. I'm very curious to see how things are gonna be with King Byogen and like his identity, his story. I really hope they show something like this, because I don't know, I'm just curious. I'm just very curious. They basically haven't told us anything yet, and I'm pretty sure they will. But next episode, we are going to have King Guairu, and it's going to be a Hinata episode. I'm very curious to see how this is gonna go. Very curious. Anyways, episode 39. I think episode 39 had pretty interesting scenes. It was funny in some specific moments, and the comedy really hit the mark for me. We had a little bit of focus on Hinata, which I really enjoyed, because Hinata is going to be very important in the next episode. And Hinata as a character, she doesn't really have a story like the other two. I'm just considering Asumi here. I'm talking about the original trio. Chiyu and Nodoka, they more or less have a story, a plot going on for them. Hinata doesn't. Her episodes, they always feel very episodic, like she doesn't have a big arc of her own. But I feel like there is always something that connects all of her episodes, which is all her episodes are Hinata dealing with Hinata. She is dealing with her own feelings, her own uncertainties. Something is happening in her life in which she has to deal with her lack of confidence, her lack of belief in herself, and so on. So I feel like this is coming into play in the next episode as well. So it was very nice that they brought a little bit more of her personality in episode 39. I really loved it. Obviously, the fight wasn't what I was expecting a little bit more, because they came to the Byogen Kingdom. They were fighting inside the Byogen Kingdom. But still, I understand that this is not a very big episode. We're going to have bigger episodes coming in Healing Good, and I'm super excited for them. I think that Healing Good is really bringing everything in this last stretch of the season. Remembering that Healing Good is finishing with 45 episodes, and Tropical Ridge PreCure is starting on February 28. So Healing Good will end with 45 episodes. Anyways, this was my view on episode 39. Please leave a comment with yours. Let's keep talking in the comment box below. I want to take this little time to thank all of the members of the Magical Cinnamon channel. If you are a member, I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for believing in me and for believing in Magical Cinnamon. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye bye.